How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another card game video. Today we are taking a look at Ambal Tournament. This is a Kickstarter preview build of the game that was sent to me by the creator. I believe their studio is called like Salt Ring Games. I had to look it up. I knew it was Salt Ring. Which is pretty cool because I know they're based out of Japan, and salt rings are kind of like something you do in like rituals and stuff to ward off spirits or something. I'm not sure, but in any case, I think this game looks freaking awesome. Look at the art. I think that this is one of the best and most cohesive looking games I've seen. So what is Ambal Tournament? It is basically like a 2 to 4 player battle card game. It is not a trading card game. It is a game where you buy the box and then you just have all the cards, right? So think of it kind of like a living card game, but it's not a living card game. Kind of like a board game, but it's not technically a board game, it's a card game. It's kind of like a deck builder kind of thing with beautiful artwork. All of the art is done in this style. I do want to mention that all the cards that I have today don't have their final artwork. They have a lot of placeholder artwork because part of the Kickstarter is going to be, you know, get the funding to make the rest of the art. But we do have a lot of art to show off in today's video. And what today's video isn't, this is not a how to play video. This is kind of just a first look, my first impressions on this game. I've actually covered it a little bit on the channel with their first Kickstarter, and they kind of postponed it due to a lot of world events. Let's just say that a lot of world events that were happening in 2020, which is quite smart. But they are now going to have this Kickstarter, and I will have a potential link to the Kickstarter in the description, maybe in a pinned comment. I'm not entirely sure when it launches, but I do know it's going to be launching in the next month or so. But anyway, let's open this up, take a look at all of the cards inside, because once again, I think this looks freaking awesome. There's one other disclaimer that I want to say. This is a preview Kickstarter build. The quality of the cards inside are not indicative of the final quality of the Kickstarter version. This is just a super rough kind of build kind of thing. So keep that in mind as we look at the cards. I have looked at a little bit of them and they have like some rough edging and stuff. But like I said, this is just a really rough version, not the final Kickstarter version. So now let's go to the top down and take a look at Ambal Tournament. All right, so here we have Ambal Tournament Kickstarter preview. So let's just open this up and take a look at all of the cards. We'll talk a little bit about the game as we go. I'm not an expert on this game, but I do know a little bit of, you know, how to play and all of that kind of stuff. So let's take all this stuff out here, and then we'll start talking about the game in earnest. This thing, first of all, is these little pads that you keep track of your life and your energy. So Ambal Tournament is a game where there's no like ramp up system. You don't like draw energy or resources, you just have it. So that's really sweet. It's a game where you can just kind of like get going right from the start. And so we have life and we have energy down here, and you can use various tokens and that kind of stuff to keep track of that. So that's what this board is. Each player would have one of those. If you wanted to play with 4 players, you could either, you know, proxy up one of these or just buy a second set. I think buying a second set is kind of what you want to do for 4 players. But one set is good enough for 2 players. Here we have some various tokens, status ailments, damage counters, all of this kind of stuff. So you can have like your, you know, poison effects, that kind of stuff. So if you're familiar with Pokemon, I guess I got a blank one. If you're familiar with Pokemon or any game like that, this is very, very similar. But like I said, we're not going to really go into the deep details today. This is just kind of like a quick preview. I do also want to mention that this Kickstarter preview is a little inky. Once again, the final product, this is not indicative of the final product. Here we also have some, look at that, man. Here we also have some dice as well as some like tokens. Once again, these are what you can use for this to keep track of your life and your energy. The dice are really, really good. And then here, this is the most important part. This is what we're gonna really talk about today. All of the cards. And here you can see we have a couple things on how to play both round order and battle phase effects. This game is actually played simultaneously, so both players will pick cards from their hand and then put them both face down, and then they're revealed simultaneously, which is super cool. So it's a game where you can't really just kind of go AFK on your opponent. You can't just kind of like zone out, which I really, really appreciate, because in a lot of games, we're not going to name any here, it's really easy just to zonk out on your opponent's turn because you're like, oh, I can't do anything, so I'm going to pull out my phone and just start looking at that. Ambal Tournament is a game where that doesn't happen, which I actually really, really appreciate. So here I'm going to sort the cards by their attributes. By their, I don't want to say elemental attributes because that's not an entirely fair assessment because they're not all elements. And I'll kind of go over what each of them is, and you can kind of combine and mix, I believe, up to 2. So let's take a look at water magic first. Here we have an elite spell. Elite spells are, as you would guess, very powerful, and I do believe you have a limited number of elite spells that you can put in your deck. I kind of flubbed a lot of that. You can have a limited number of elite spells in your deck. But as you can see, some of the art here is just placeholder art. So we'll have some like duplication art. But I'm just going to kind of go over these really, really quickly. I think I sorted all of the duplication art. This one is freaking awesome. Look at this full art Blizzard Elite spell. Really, really cool. And you can see also what the back of the card game looks like. Oh, looks good, I think. Looks very classic and it's very clean. I appreciate that. And here we have some of the other ones. So this is the Blizzard spell, but you know, not the full art fancy versions. And I do believe these are like promotional versions and that kind of stuff. For like collectors and people who want that kind of stuff. But this is a game where there's no random packs, so the special fancy versions will be promotional and that kind of stuff. But you can kind of see here some of the art in the game. I think it's actually fantastic. It's beautiful. It has a very unique flavor. There are no creatures or minions or anything like that in this deck. Everything is an attack. So the game plays very much like it's just you versus your opponent. Think of something more akin to like Flesh and Blood than Magic the Gathering. Here we have the fire spells. So we have water and we have fire. I do believe you can make decks mixed of them. I think the last time I saw you can mix 2, but don't quote me on that one. I do believe you can mix 2 though. So here we have, these are the placeholder artwork, by the way. I kind of skipped over that one. But here we have some of the non-placeholder artwork. We have Meteor, Flare Up, like look at this. Looks super cool. And like I said, it's very congruous. The art style remains the same throughout all of the cards. It just makes this world that's very interconnected, very, very flavorful, and very, very beautiful. It does make it so the cards all look like very similar, right? So a lot of these cards look similar, but I think that's by design. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. I think it's cool though. I think it makes it all very similar. It actually reminds me of like Guild Wars 2. This kind of art style reminds me of like the Guild Wars 2 art style. And so this one is the Assassination Path. And here we can have all of the placeholder artwork here. But yeah, look at this. Looks so sweet. Oh yeah, look at that. I really, really dig this. If not just for the artwork. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think it's very unique. And at the price they're asking, and I'm not 100% sure what it is, but if I remember right, it was like around 30, 40 bucks, something like that, for the previous Kickstarter. It's a really good ask for like just kind of like this good, complete board game experience. And this one is the Path of the Blade, or Sword Path, or something like that. So yeah, we have a lot of awesome looking cards in here, and you can see that they're all like very, very tonally different. Swordsmanship, yeah, I think it's Path of the Sword. Looks really, really cool. And then we have all the placeholder artwork. I can't wait to see the rest of the artwork, by the way. I know they're sharing some on their like social medias, but I think it's just fantastic. So yeah, that is Ambal Tournament. The games are actually pretty quick. I think this is something you should really keep an eye out for if you like this kind of stuff. If you're not a big fan of like the trading card genre, if you just want a fun card game to play, really, really keep an eye out for this one. I think it's cool, and I definitely think it's worth a look at. I will personally be backing this Kickstarter for probably 1 or 2 boxes of it. Like I said, I think 1 box will get you enough for 2 players to play, and 2 boxes will get you enough for, you know, 4 players, but it also gives you enough cards for 2 players to play literally whatever they want, which I think is really, really cool. Before I end today, I do want to mention that there are a couple different game modes. So there's like a regular game mode where you just play with 1 battle deck. It's very simple and straightforward. There's an advanced mode where you have a special extra deck that have special cards, and it's a little bit more complicated, more options, more strategy, that kind of stuff. And then you can also play draft, which is sweet, where you just kind of use all the cards in the box and just make some decks. And I think that's really cool too. So I know I'm going to want to play the draft mode, but I really do think that this is going to be a lot of fun, to be completely honest. The Kickstarter for Ambal Tournament goes live on September 14th, and I do know they already have a page available for you to go subscribe to and kind of like get on the wait list if you think this is interesting. Thank you for watching our very quick first look and impressions of Ambal Tournament. I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of like what the cards look like and that kind of stuff. If you would like to see more gameplay focused stuff, please let me know. And I do know that there are already some stuff out there kind of on that as well. Games take about maybe 30 to 40 minutes to play total. Anyway, thank you again, and I will see you next time for some more card game content. Have a good one all. See you later.